When did your family's help turn into financial ruin? OMG, guys, I am typing this from a broom closet in the back of a luxury wedding venue, and I cannot breathe. I literally just found out my entire family, the people I love and trust, have been committing straight-up financial fraud against me for months, maybe years. I'm 72 years old, I should be enjoying retirement, not sitting here scrolling through transaction histories that look like a horror movie script. I don't even know where to start with this mess, honestly. Let's call this the Brooks family disaster because it's a disaster. I need to vent this out before I go completely insane. Please tell me I'm not the crazy one. Okay, deep breath. The setting is important here. It's the wedding reception for my niece, Catherine Sanders, 20F. Yes, 20. She's a sweet kid, a struggling artist trying to make ends meet while applying to art schools, and this wedding was supposed to be her big, beautiful day. Venue is one of those ridiculously expensive places that smells like old money and lilies. We're all dressed up, trying to look normal, but trust me, nothing about my life is normal right now. I'm Cheryl Brooks, 72F, and if you asked anyone who knows me, they'd say I'm loyal to a fault. I'm the one who always bails people out, the one who doesn't check receipts too closely, the one who just wants everyone to be happy. Pass me with such an idiot, TBH. My husband, Arthur Gray, 71M, is the reason I started digging. Arthur, bless his heart, decided about 6 months ago that he needed a personal revolution and started wearing white linen suits everywhere. Like full, crisp white suits even when we went to Costco. Today, he's wearing one of those ridiculous outfits, looking like an elderly, very confused Southern gentleman, and I'm supposed to pretend this is fine. It wasn't the white suits that tipped me off, though. It was the mail. Arthur is obsessed with keeping the house tidy, but he started getting really aggressive about intercepting the mail, especially the bank statements. We've been married 5 years last June, together since fall 2019, and we usually have pretty open communication, but lately, he's been cagey. He'd grab the envelopes and just vanish into the garage. Even started checking the Ring doorbell camera history on his iPhone 14 every day at 11:47 a.m. just to see if the mail truck had arrived. Last Tuesday, I was looking for the security deposit paperwork for apartment 3B, where our daughter lives. Long story, we co-signed the 12-month lease, and I opened Arthur's desk drawer. I wasn't snooping, I swear. I was just looking for the file labeled lease stuff. What I found instead was a stack of unopened correspondence from Chase and Amex. And guys, there were literally 4 separate cards in his name that I had no idea existed. 4. We share one joint checking account and one joint Visa. This was 4 secret credit cards. I felt my stomach drop immediately. This is the moment where I should have screamed, but I just felt numb. I took them and slipped them into my purse. I knew if I confronted Arthur then, he would gaslight me into oblivion. He's good at that. You're being dramatic, Cheryl, or you're remembering it wrong, honey. I waited until Thursday morning when he was out getting his morning artisanal coffee, Starbucks, but he calls it artisanal, and I called the banks. I told them I was Arthur Gray's wife and I needed the recent statements because we were revising our retirement budget. The customer service reps were actually pretty helpful, NGL. What followed was 2 hours of sheer, escalating terror. Count 1, Chase Freedom. Balance $14,500. Okay, hi, but maybe home repairs. No. Recent charges included $347 at a high-end jewelry store, multiple $200 withdrawals from ATMs near the college campus where Catherine studies, and $1,247 paid to a private art tutor. Account 2, Amex Gold. Balance $21,980. This one was worse. Huge Amazon purchases, literally hundreds of small charges from places like Target and Trader Joe's charges that looked like they were for groceries, but never totaling more than $43.67. And then the big kicker, 2 separate $8,000 deposits into a Venmo account named Sophia P. Art Fund. I stopped breathing when I saw that name. Sophia Powell, 26F. Sophia Powell is my granddaughter. Supposed to be my childhood hero, the one who got the good job in tech, the responsible one. She's been living in California, far away, and whenever we talk, she's all about financial responsibility and ethical investments. She was my shining star, and here were thousands of dollars funneling directly into her personal account. I threw my iPhone 14 onto the couch. It landed screen up. I was literally shaking, full body shaking. I wanted to throw up, but I hadn't eaten anything but gas station coffee and half a stale bagel that morning. The sheer, overwhelming wave of betrayal hit me like a physical blow. This isn't just Arthur being fiscally irresponsible. This is something actively criminal. I knew I couldn't confront him yet. I needed evidence. I spent Friday morning at the library. I didn't trust our home Wi-Fi, and Arthur knows my passwords, going through the rest of the statements they emailed me. That's when I saw the pattern. The smaller, mundane charges. The $43.67 grocery bills, the $85 plumber charges when we haven't had a leak since 2021, the Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus subscriptions being charged to 3 separate cards every month. It wasn't just Arthur and Sophia. It was the whole damn family. Specifically, Anna Walker, 50F, my niece, who is married to my brother. Anna is difficult. He's the relative who always manages to bring up race relations during Thanksgiving dinner. She's definitely the racist relative. She's also terrified of her own husband finding out how much she spends. I saw charges for a Peloton subscription and $200 Uber rides from Anna's zip code, all charged to account 3. I knew Anna didn't have access to my accounts, and Arthur sure as hell wouldn't just give her a card. So, how were they all doing this? I started going back through old emails and texts, desperately searching for a clue. I found a string of archived texts between Arthur and Sophia from about 8 months ago. Arthur texted, "Did you talk to Anna about the access point? It has to be discreet." Sophia replied, "Yeah, she's nervous. Said we need a fall guy if anything goes sideways. She's worried about the charges showing up on her bank statements. I told her we use the older accounts, the ones grandma never checks." Arthur, good. Catherine needs that art money ASAP, and Anna needs that Peloton. Just don't let Cheryl see the bills, I'm serious. I felt the blood drain from my face. Catherine, the struggling artist bride, who I loved dearly and thought was innocent, she was receiving money directly from these fraudulent cards for her art tutor and supplies. The $1,247 tutoring payment made sense now. It wasn't just a handful of people. It was a concerted effort involving Arthur, Anna the racist relative, Catherine the bride, and Sophia the childhood hero. They were actively collaborating, using my credit profile, my good name, my savings, to finance their individual selfish needs. The total debt spread across the 4 cards was nearly $60,000. $60,000 that I was ultimately responsible for, and I had absolutely zero idea. I was sobbing in the library stall, mascara running down my face, looking like a raccoon who just realized the apocalypse started. But I was also weirdly relieved that the confusion of the last few months finally made sense. The math wasn't mathing until now. Why? Why would Arthur do this? After all these years, after the loyalty I've shown, how could he look me dead in the eyes and gaslight me every single day while hiding tens of thousands of dollars of debt? The wedding day arrived today. Woke up at 5:30 a.m. feeling like I hadn't slept in 48 hours. I had that tight, burning feeling in my chest. I couldn't eat. I tried to choke down some oatmeal, but my throat was closed up. I managed to put on my dress and plaster a smile on my face. Arthur, looking ridiculous in his blinding white suit, kept telling me how lovely I looked. The audacity, the sheer audacity of this man. I wanted to scream. I know about the $60K, you fraud, but I needed to wait. I needed to see them all together. The ceremony was fine, thankfully short. Catherine was beautiful. Sophia, the childhood hero, gave a lovely, tearful toast about family and integrity. I almost laughed out loud. Integrity? Girl, please. The reception is happening now. Everyone is mingling. The music is too loud. I excused myself 5 minutes ago, claiming I needed to fix my lipstick, but really I needed to check my pulse. I saw the moment the plan solidified in my head. They're all here. Arthur is currently showing off his white suit to Anna near the buffet. Catherine is talking to the photographer. Sophia is over by the cake table, scrolling on her phone, probably checking her Venmo balance. This entire wedding venue is about to become the site of a very, very difficult conversation. A confrontation that is going to blow up Catherine's big day, but frankly, I don't care anymore. My financial future is literally on the line. I know I should have a lawyer present. I know I should just call the police. But my first instinct, the loyal to fault instinct, is to talk to them, to look them in the eyes and ask WHY, to see if they can even conjure up a believable lie. I opened my purse and pulled out the physical Amex Gold card, the one I had no idea existed 2 weeks ago. I held it in my hand. It was shaking slightly. I took another deep breath, opened the broom closet door, and walked directly towards Arthur and Anna. Arthur saw me coming, and that ridiculous smile he was wearing faltered slightly. Anna, the racist relative, was mid-sentence about how the catering staff should smile more. I walked right up to Arthur and didn't raise my voice. I kept it low and deadly. Arthur, I said. He looked startled. Cheryl, what are you doing? Everything all right? I didn't answer him. I looked at Anna 50F. She narrowed her eyes at me. Anna, tell me, does the $85 plumber charge on the Amex Gold cover the repairs for your Peloton installation? I asked. Anna's jaw dropped. Literally dropped. Her eyes darted over to Arthur, who looked like he'd been hit by a truck. He stammered. Wait, what? Cheryl, where did you get that card? I ignored Arthur and addressed Anna again, giving her zero room to lie. Or maybe you can explain why Sophia Powell's Venmo account received over $16,000 in art funding in the last 2 months, all charged to accounts you and Arthur swore I never used. Anna tried to rally. Cheryl, you're being ridiculous. You're too sensitive. This is Catherine's wedding. You're being dramatic. I'm done being dramatic, I said, leaning in closer. I'm being financially solvent. I'm about to have a conversation with your daughter, Catherine, about the $1,247 private tutoring bill she received via fraud. That's when Sophia Powell, 26F, must have sensed the change in atmosphere because she started walking toward us from the cake table looking concerned. Her perfect facade was still intact. Arthur finally found his voice high-pitched and panicked. Cheryl, we need to talk about this later. Please, don't make a scene. We can explain. It's complicated. Oh, I'm sure it is, I said. But the explanation needs to be immediate. And it needs to involve telling me how you managed to acquire 4 secret credit cards in my name and why you are all using me to finance your lives. Sophia reached the group, her face already showing that patented mixture of innocence and manufactured concern. Grandma, what is going on? Why are you talking about my Venmo? Sophia asked, looking directly at Arthur, clearly signaling him to shut me down. I didn't let him. I looked at my childhood hero, the girl I trusted completely, the girl who was going to pay me back for that security deposit for apartment 3B, and I held up the Amex Gold card. Sophia, I said, my voice cracking slightly despite my best efforts to stay strong. You want to explain to me, right now, in front of the bride's racist aunt and your grandfather in his ridiculous white suit, exactly how you committed credit card fraud using my identity, or should we wait for the police? Sophia's face went from concern to pure, unadulterated panic. Arthur grabbed my arm, but I yanked it away. Before anyone could move or speak, Catherine Sanders, 20F, the bride, walked up looking confused but happy. She had a piece of cake on a napkin. Ma, Grandpa, what are you guys talking about? Did you see the dessert bar? It's amazing. Sophia, did you get the text I sent? I need to finalize the payment to the band before 8 p.m. Can you Zelle me the rest of the funds from the... She stopped dead when she saw the look on all our faces. The look of utter financial and relational catastrophe. I still have the card in my hand. Arthur is staring at me, his face pale underneath the white suit. Anna looks like she might actually combust. Catherine just implicated herself again. This is going to be the absolute worst conversation of my entire 72 years. I'm standing here at my niece's wedding reception about to expose 4 people I love or thought I loved as criminals. I feel dizzy. What am I supposed to do now? Call the police? Demand they pay $60,000 immediately? Tell Catherine she needs to return the money she used for her tutoring. I need advice, guys. I need it now. Because Arthur just opened his mouth to try and explain, and I swear, if he says the word misunderstanding, I'm going to throw this credit card through the window. They are all waiting for me to speak. I can hear the DJ announcing the next dance, and I have no idea if I should drop this bomb on Catherine's wedding or if I should just stand here and let them bury themselves in lies. What the fuck do I do? Arthur just opened his mouth to try and explain, and I swear, if he says the word misunderstanding, I'm going to throw this credit card through the window. He didn't say misunderstanding. He said, Cheryl, stop this. We can talk about the money later. This is Catherine's day. You're ruining it. I laughed, not a nice laugh. A short, dry, involuntary burst of pure rage that felt like sandpaper rubbing against my throat. Ruin it? I asked him. My voice was suddenly icy calm. It was weird. Shaking stopped, replaced by this laser focus. You want to talk about ruining things? You ruined my credit score, Arthur. You ruined my trust. You and your little cabal of thieves ruined my entire financial future for a Peloton subscription and a white linen suit addiction. Anna, the racist relative, stepped forward, trying to insert herself. She put a hand on my arm. Big mistake. Cheryl, you need to calm down, honey. It's just credit cards. We were going to pay it back. It's family, Anna hissed, low enough so only we could hear, but loud enough that Catherine, standing 2 feet away with her piece of cake, started looking around nervously. I pulled my arm away so fast I think I actually startled Arthur. Don't touch me, Anna, I warned her. And don't you dare talk about family. Family doesn't commit fraud against the person who co-signed their lease. Family doesn't use secret accounts to fund their niece's art tuition, leaving the 72-year-old loyal idiot to foot the $60,000 bill. Sophia, 26F, my supposed hero, finally broke her silence, but it wasn't an apology. It was defense. Grandma, you are not thinking clearly. We did this for Catherine. She needed the money for school applications, and that tutor was really expensive. But you would have never understood. You're always so tight with the purse strings. I would have never understood, I interrupted her. I literally offered to pay for Catherine's first semester of community college, Sophia. I paid your rent last summer when you claimed your tech startup check was delayed. I'm tight with the purse strings because I am 72 and trying to retire, not finance your elaborate lifestyle experiments. Catherine, 20F, the bride, dropped her napkin and the piece of cake slid onto the floor, white frosting everywhere. She finally realized this wasn't just a regular family squabble. What funds? What payment? Grandpa, what is Grandma talking about? Did you give Sophia my band money? Is this about the art thing? Catherine's voice was trembling. Arthur took a deep breath, smoothing down his ridiculous white lapel. He looked desperate. It's nothing, sweetie. It's a very small mix-up with the accounts. Well sorted out after the reception. Cheryl is stressed. I am not stressed, Arthur. I am furious, I corrected him. I looked directly at Catherine. I hated doing this, but she had to know. She was complicit, even if she was just the recipient. Catherine, the art tutor, the application fees, the Venmo payments you've received from Sophia over the last 8 months. All of it was paid for using credit cards Arthur opened fraudulently, using my social security number, under my name, without my knowledge or consent. It is $60,000 worth of debt that the bank now holds me responsible for. You are wearing a dress bought, in part, with stolen money. You were all stealing from me. The silence that followed was deafening. Even the DJ seemed to have turned down the volume on the awful 80s ballad he was playing. Catherine looked at Sophia, then at Arthur, then back at me. Her big blue eyes filled instantly with tears. That's not true. Sophia said it was an investment fund she created for me. She said you knew about it, Grandpa. And that was the final, critical piece of evidence I needed. Arthur had used me as a shield, telling Sophia and Catherine that I was either aware of the older accounts or that he had my permission. He was controlling the narrative, the puppet master in his absurd white suit. Sophia went ballistic. You told me she was in on it. You said she signed the paperwork. You said you had her express permission to use the old accounts that never got closed. Anna, seeing the whole scheme unravel, started backing away slowly, trying to blend into the sea of drunken guests. I noticed her, though. I made a mental note. Anna gets dealt with separately because, frankly, she's too disgusting to deal with right now. Arthur, cornered by his accomplice and the victim, finally cracked. The white suit didn't look heroic anymore. It looked like a shroud. I didn't steal, Cheryl, I borrowed. And I didn't say you signed, Sophia. I said you had to keep it quiet. I was managing the family's financial needs. We all needed things. You're just so fiscally conservative you wouldn't let us live. We were going to pay it back. I had a plan. A plan to pay back $60,000 before I noticed my credit score was in the tank. I literally found the evidence by accident, Arthur. You were hiding the mail like a squirrel hides nuts. I snapped. Catherine was now openly sobbing, her bridal makeup running. The band? We need to pay the band. I don't have the money. Don't worry about the band, Catherine, I said, rubbing my temples. Arthur can worry about the band. He created this mess. Arthur, you have 48 hours to provide me with a notarized, written, and signed payment plan for the full $60,000, or I will be going to the police with the evidence I have of 4 separate fraudulent accounts and the text messages detailing the conspiracy. Arthur just stared at me, dumbfounded. Sophia looked equally horrified. Anna had completely disappeared, like a cockroach when the light comes on. I looked at Catherine one last time, my heart breaking for her because she was just a kid used by the adults in her life. I am so sorry this is happening on your wedding day, sweetie, but they brought this entirely on themselves. I turned on my heel and walked out of the venue, past the bewildered guests, past the expensive floral arrangements, and right into the parking lot. I didn't stop to get my coat. I just drove. I texted my best friend, Ellen, 73F, the only loyal person I know, a single word, fraud, so 2 days later. I've been staying at Ellen's tiny apartment. It smells like mothballs and cats, but it is safe. I'm sorry for the delay updating. I've been dealing with stuff. Specifically, dealing with the legal system. I called the lawyer Ellen recommended, a man named Mr. Peterson who specializes in marital asset dissolution and apparently family fraud. Consultation was $450 NGL, but worth it just to hear him say, Mrs. Brooks, this is actually textbook financial abuse and fraud. I brought him the statements, the texts, the secret cards, and a detailed list of where the money went: Peloton, Art Tutor, Venmo, white suits. Mr. Peterson was shocked by the sheer brazenness of Arthur. He said the most critical piece of evidence was Arthur opening those 4 separate lines of credit without my knowledge. So we live in a community property state. The debt is technically 50-50, but because the cards were opened through deceptive means, Arthur used my credit profile and possibly faked my signature on applications, still waiting to confirm that, and the money was spent clearly outside of marital expenses. Unless a white linen suit counts as a joint asset, LOL, we have a strong case for financial malfeasance and fraud. He strongly advised me to file for a separation immediately. He was very, very clear. I had to change the locks on my house immediately, or Arthur could clear out the joint accounts and sell everything before I could get a restraining order. My stomach sank. I still couldn't fully process that my husband, the man I shared a bed with, was capable of this. I spent most of Monday crying, stress-eating an entire bag of tortilla chips, and binge-watching old episodes of Frasier. I kept looking at my phone, half expecting Arthur to apologize, but all I got was a text from him at 7:00 p.m. on Monday night. Arthur text, Cheryl, I need to come home. This is ridiculous. I went to the bank. The charges are manageable. We can put them on a consolidation loan. Don't be rash. I love you. Let's talk about how to fix this, but you need to come home. I texted Mr. Peterson the screenshot. Mr. Peterson replied immediately, do not return home. Do not engage. We will send the cease and desist letter tomorrow. I will coordinate the changing of the locks. I realized I couldn't face Arthur yet. The anger was still too hot, but the sadness was overwhelming. I was losing my husband, my house, and $60,000 all in one terrible sweep. Update, Tuesday morning, 9:00 a.m. I did something I never would have done before. I drove back to the house with the locksmith and Ellen. Arthur was gone, probably at Starbucks getting his artisanal coffee. It felt like a betrayal changing the locks on my own home. But when the locksmith handed me the new brass key, Ellen looked at me and said, Cheryl, you just protected yourself. This isn't betrayal, it's survival. While the locksmith worked, I went inside to gather my essentials. The house felt alien. I walked into Arthur's home office and looked at his desk. I noticed a small, slightly scorched-looking piece of paper tucked under the keyboard. I pulled it out. It was a receipt, a deposit receipt. $12,000 cash deposit into a brand new checking account in Arthur's name only 3 months ago. My blood ran cold again. He wasn't just spending my money, he was hoarding some of it. He was actively preparing for this split. He had a safety net while I was drowning in debt he created. Took a picture of the receipt with my iPhone and immediately emailed it to Mr. Peterson. Exhibit E, hidden assets. I grabbed 3 suitcases worth of clothes, my jewelry, my laptop, and all my important documents: passport, birth certificate, my car title. I also took all the photos of my parents and my late first husband. I left all the pictures of Arthur right where they were. Petty? Yes. Satisfying? Absolutely. As I was leaving the drive, Arthur pulled up in his SUV. He was still wearing a white suit, but this one was rumpled and looked pathetic. He jumped out of the car. Cheryl, what the hell are you doing? Why is there a strange man changing the locks? He yelled across the lawn. I didn't stop the car. Ellen rolled down the passenger window. Arthur, you need to talk to her lawyer now, Ellen said, her voice dripping with scorn. She knows everything and she's not coming back. You made your bed. I saw the realization hit him. He wasn't dealing with loyal-to-fault Cheryl anymore. He was dealing with Cheryl Brooks, the wronged woman who finally had enough. His jaw dropped and he looked smaller than I had ever seen him. I drove away, not looking back. Fast forward to Friday. I'm exhausted. The emotional crash came Thursday afternoon. I spent 6 hours sobbing, watching the Great British Baking Show and wondering if I'd ever trust anyone again. I had to contact Catherine, the bride, and Sophia, the former hero. Lawyer said I couldn't talk to Arthur directly, but since Catherine and Sophia were technically accessories to the fraud, even if they were manipulated, I needed to send them a legal notification demanding repayment for the specific funds they received. I didn't want to make things worse for Catherine, who was probably having the worst honeymoon period in history, but I had to protect myself. I called Catherine. Her new husband answered. He sounded confused and annoyed. She's crying, Cheryl. Can you please call back? She says she can't talk to anyone from the family. I understand, but this is a legal matter, I said, trying to sound professional. I just need her to acknowledge receipt of an email regarding repayment of funds. He sighed heavily. Fine, send it. I sent Catherine the letter, outlining the $1,247 paid to the art tutor, the $347 jewelry store charge, which I suspect was a wedding gift he charged to the fraudulent account, and the various small ATM withdrawals near her campus. The lawyer said she could try to argue she didn't know the source, but the text messages show she was aware of the secrecy. I sent Sophia, the childhood hero, the letter demanding repayment of the $16,000 she Venmo'd herself and the other large Amazon purchases. Within an hour, Sophia called me. Her voice was shaking, but still laced with entitlement. Grandma, you're seriously going to bankrupt me over this? I thought we were close. Grandpa said this was fine. He promised he was managing the debt. Sophia, you are 26 years old, working in tech and earning 3 times what I make on Social Security, I said, finally feeling the determination Mr. Peterson told me to channel. You knew what you were doing was wrong. You were communicating with Arthur about discretion and fall guys. You took $16,000 that wasn't yours and you hid it. You are repaying every single penny. If you don't, I will file a police report naming you as a co-conspirator. She went silent. The legal fees will ruin me. And what do you think $60,000 of fraudulent debt does to a 72-year-old on a fixed income, Sophia? I shot back. I'm giving you a chance to avoid the police. Pay me back, and we can discuss the possibility of salvaging some sort of relationship. But honestly, Sophia, I don't know if I can ever look at you the same way. I hung up before she could start crying or arguing about her art fund. Betrayal from her cuts deeper than Arthur's, TBH. He was always a bit flighty. She was supposed to be the anchor. A week went by where I mostly hid. My phone was blowing up. Arthur left 17 voicemails begging me to talk, ranging from tearful apologies to furious accusations. You're just jealous of my financial creativity, Cheryl? I didn't listen to any of them. Ellen deleted them for me. She's the best. Anna, the racist relative, tried texting me about 3 times. On a text 1, Cheryl, we need to talk. This whole thing is making things difficult for the family. On a text 2, if you try to make Catherine pay back that money, I swear to God I will tell everyone about that thing that happened in 1998. I have no idea what that thing is, LOL, but I screenshotted it and sent it to Mr. Peterson. On a text 3, just tell the lawyer it was Arthur's fault and leave us out of it. It was his idea. I only needed the Peloton. I blocked Anna on everything. I decided she doesn't deserve the air she breathes, much less a conversation with me. The biggest logistical nightmare. Apartment 3B, that's the apartment I co-signed the lease for. Our daughter, not directly involved in the fraud, thank God, but geographically distant and useless, lives there. I had to pay the security deposit, and the lease is in my name, with Arthur as co-signer. Mr. Peterson said since the lease is joint, I am still responsible until it expires, but he sent a letter to the daughter, informing her that Arthur is no longer financially contributing to the rent. My daughter, bless her heart, called me back immediately. Mom, are you serious? Dad says he's going to stop paying his half of the lease. How am I supposed to pay full rent? I explained the fraud, slowly and carefully, trying to stay calm. Use $60,000 of my retirement savings to pay for white suits in Sophia's art classes, honey. He committed fraud. I am filing for divorce. I cannot continue to finance his life or provide him cover, I told her. She was quiet for a long time. Oh, Mom, I knew something was off. Dad was always talking about how you didn't understand the market. She didn't offer to help with the rent. She just complained about how expensive California is. Another disappointment, NGL, but I can't be surprised. Loyalty is apparently not a dominant Brooks family trait. By Tuesday, I was getting some control back. Mr. Peterson filed the separation paperwork. The cease and desist order was served to Arthur at a Starbucks near his brother's house, where he's currently staying. I wish I was joking. The important development: Sophia Powell, 26F, transferred $16,500 to my bank account. Exact amount she defrauded, plus a little extra to cover the high interest rates on the Amex Gold. I stared at the screen, tears welling up. Not because I was happy, but because it was such a transactional, empty ending to our relationship. No apology, just a transfer. I texted Mr. Peterson. Sophia paid. Does this mitigate the fraud charges? He replied. It shows good faith and willingness to repay, which is a significant mitigating factor. We'll proceed with civil action only against Arthur now, focusing on the remaining $43,500 and the division of marital assets. Keep the money. It felt like a small victory, the first good day in weeks. I decided I needed to face Catherine, the bride. She wasn't malicious like Anna or calculating like Sophia. She was just naive and manipulated. I drove to her small studio apartment. She looked rough. She opened the door, her eyes puffy. Her husband was sitting on the couch, looking glum. Grandma, what do you want? She whispered. I'm not here about the money anymore, I said, holding up a small cardboard box. I came to give you the rest of your wedding photos, the ones the photographer sent me. She hesitated, then let me in. The apartment smelled like paint and anxiety. Look, Catherine, I need to be honest with you. Your grandfather is very ill, not physically, but morally. Involved you in something terrible, I began. She sat down on the floor, hugging her knees. He said he was trying to help me because I was a struggling artist. He said you had too much money and you wouldn't notice. I thought he was just being weird. He lied to you, I confirmed. I filed for separation. I'm giving you a break on the money right now, but you need to understand that the $1,247 tutor fee and the other small charges are technically debt. You need to start repaying me when you can, but more importantly, you need to cut ties with Arthur regarding anything financial. He cannot be trusted. She nodded, wiping her eyes. My dad won't talk to me. Anna won't talk to me. They're all saying I sided with you or that I ruined the wedding by crying. They're protecting themselves, I said sadly. Anna is a coward. She disappeared the second she realized she was caught. I blocked her number. I suggest you do the same. He only cares about her reputation and her Peloton. We sat in silence for a few minutes. I gave her some actual advice: change her bank accounts, get her own separate credit line, and maybe see a therapist. I'm sorry, Grandma, she finally said. I know, sweetie, I am too, but you get to decide who you are now. Don't be like your grandfather. I left her apartment feeling lighter. The relationship with Catherine wasn't totally salvaged, but it wasn't destroyed either. It had a path forward, even if it was bumpy. 3 days after that, the reality of the $43,500 hit me. Even with Sophia's repayment, I still have nearly $45K left, counting interest, fees, and the lawyer's fees, which are astronomical, NGL. Mr. Peterson assures me we will recover at least half of the debt through the marital asset division, but the logistics of dividing our home equity and savings account are going to take months, maybe years. I'm currently staying in a corporate housing unit near Ellen's apartment. It's basically a fancy shoebox, but at least it's mine. I had to start cutting costs ruthlessly. I canceled Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, all of which Arthur and Anna were using fraudulently, BTW, and even the Good Coffee subscription. I'm eating ramen every day, but I'm sleeping peacefully, so worth it. Then I had my first moment of weakness. I was cleaning out my phone, deleting old pictures of Arthur in his various, progressively more ridiculous white suits, and I saw a text from him that was 9 years old, right before we started dating. It was him being sweet and asking me to meet him for dinner. I almost texted him back. I had my fingers hovering over the keyboard, ready to type something stupid like, "I miss the old you." Ellen grabbed the phone out of my hand. "No, Cheryl, bad choice. We are not doing this. He's a financial terrorist. Go drink water." She was right. I deleted the old texts and blocked his number again. Delete his number challenge failed because I still memorized it, but at least I can't easily but dial him. Y'all are not going to believe what happened this morning. I got a call from an unknown number. Usually I ignore them, but this time I picked up. It was Anna Walker 50F, the racist relative. She was weeping. "Cheryl, you have to help me. My husband found out about the Peloton and the Uber rides. Arthur sold me out. He told my brother I was using fraudulent cards and now he's threatening to divorce me. I can't afford to live alone." I took a deep breath. This was the karma I had been waiting for. "Anna, I have absolutely nothing to do with your marital problems," I said, keeping my voice steady. "The only thing I did was stop your access to the fraudulent credit lines that Arthur set up. If you're having consequences from your actions, you need to deal with them yourself." "But I'm family. You're the loyal one," she wailed. "I was loyal to a fault, Anna. I am learning from my mistakes. Loyalty is for people who aren't using my identity to fund their life choices. Now, if y'all excuse me, I have a meeting with my lawyer about the separation of assets." I hung up. I didn't feel triumphant, just tired. But I realized that was character growth right there. I set a boundary, I enforced it, and I didn't feel guilty. I'm not proud of how long it took me to see their true colors, but I'm proud of the boundaries I'm setting now. 6 weeks later, and this mess is still ongoing. Arthur is fighting the divorce tooth and nail. He claims I abandoned him and that the debt was a joint project for family welfare. He even showed up at the corporate apartment complex, trying to talk his way in. Security escorted him out. I realized I'd been ignoring red flags for months, maybe years. The white suits were just the physical manifestation of his self-absorption and denial of reality. He thought he was untouchable, a financial genius who could manage 4 secret cards. He literally thought he was a movie character. The financial reality is complex. We are in mediation for the division of the house equity. Since he opened the fraudulent accounts, Mr. Peterson is arguing that the remaining debt should be offset entirely by his share of the assets, and I should receive the majority of the liquidated savings account to cover the interest and legal fees. I still have bad days where I wake up at 3:00 a.m. absolutely panicking about money. My credit score took a hit, but I've been diligently paying the minimums on the 4 cards, and I finally managed to transfer the balances to a new, legitimate card in my name only, officially closing the fraudulent accounts. That felt great. I did something I never would have done before. I joined a seniors walking group. I needed new people who weren't associated with the Brooks family disaster. They talk about bird feeders and sensible shoes, and it's heaven. The ending, for now. I'm typing this from my shoebox apartment. It's small, but I have a decent view of a park, and the silence is amazing. I'm starting to unpack layers of codependency I didn't even know I had. Arthur is financially ruined, TBH. His brother is tired of him, and he's realized he can't afford the lifestyle he was borrowing to maintain. The white suits are probably stacked in a corner, gathering dust. He's facing the reality of being 71, single, and financially underwater, all because he decided he was entitled to my money. Catherine and her husband are doing okay. They are struggling financially, but they're talking to me now, and they sent me a very nice card acknowledging how much Arthur manipulated them. She is slowly paying me back in small increments for the tutoring. I think that relationship can heal, eventually. Sophia is back in California, paying off her debts and focused on her tech job. We have not spoken since the wire transfer. I don't think we ever will. I have accepted that my childhood hero was just a mirage. I am free from the constant anxiety of wondering what new bill or surprise charge was lurking in the mail. I'm eating ramen, yes, but I am laughing more than I have in months. Yesterday, Ellen brought wine and we screenshotted every ridiculous, self-pitying text Arthur had sent me, and we laughed until we cried. I learned that loyalty, when not reciprocated, is just enabling. I was loyal to a fault, and my fault almost cost me everything. I may be 72, and this may be the hardest, messiest, most expensive divorce ever, but I'm walking out of it with my integrity, and soon, I'll have my financial life back too. It's going to be a long process, but I am ready. Yesterday, I laughed at a stupid TikTok Ellen showed me about a cat attacking a Roomba, and I realized I'm gonna be okay. Maybe more than okay. I'm financially solvent finally, and I have control of my own life. We'll update if anything else insane happens, like Arthur finally selling his white suits on eBay. Thanks for listening, guys. It helped me process everything. Cheryl Brooks, 72F, no longer loyal to a fault.